Welcome into Bears Now. Happy Monday after the Super Bowl. What a game last night as the Chiefs do it again. Third Super Bowl in 5 years as they've gone back-to-back as well. I'm Harrison Graham. We got some news to dive into on the Chicago Bears, so stay tuned. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. We're 100% free. The road to 100,000 subscribers here on Bears Now by Chat Sports is here. 87 and change. If you want daily content, including a live show later today, be sure to subscribe to the channel. All right, let's talk about something Brad Biggs just said on 670 The Score. He, of course, was asked about the latest on the quarterback situation, and I feel like this was pretty significant. He said, quote, "It's no longer a question. The question is now, and it's very clear, which quarterback are they going to draft? The Fields thing has run its course." Now, is he just going rogue and invoking his opinion there? Is he hearing a lot of things? Biggs usually doesn't just throw stuff on the wall, is what I would say. Now, look, he could be taking what he's hearing and adding a percentage of an opinion based on what he's hearing, but I don't think this is a quote based on his eyes and QB evaluation, right? Like, he's a reporter, right? He has sources inside Hallis Hall. I would say among those on the beat locally, not the Schefters, the Rappaports, etc., he's probably as most tapped in as there is. Him and Adam Johns are probably the top two. Kevin Fishbane's up there as well. So, look, I already got a tweet. This is Big's opinion. No one knows anything. And look, it's smokescreen season. There's a lot of, playing that game with the media if you're Ryan Poles and this and that. But it just doesn't it feel like it's trending this way? I'm not treating this report like it's over. There's absolutely no scenario Fields is back. But the lean continues to go in the direction that the Bears, who are sitting with the number one pick, once again, are more likely than not to draft a quarterback. Like, this is significant to me. And by the way, and people all of a sudden are, I don't think a lot of you guys are, but some of you are like, I'm getting DMs, Harrison, you're a Fields hater, this and that. I have defended Justin Fields more than anybody. I still believe in Justin Fields. I just think you have to look at the entire picture. He's entering year 4. This is a hell of a QB class. By the way, Dane Brugler, Daniel Jeremiah, and other draft analysts have all said, based on their evaluations and what they're hearing from current teams, that the NFL is not high on next year's quarterback class. So think about this scenario. You keep Justin Fields, right? Which, again, I still think there is an avenue to doing that and still being a playoff team and being a good team next year. But you trade down, you get picks. Oh, well, worst case, you draft a quarterback next year. Well, A, the chances of having the number one pick for a third straight year are slim to none. And B, next year's QB class might suck. Now, do guys typically emerge, and are there going to be a couple of dudes that are pretty good? Sure. Like, I think Shadur Sanders is pretty good. Quinn Ewers has some good arm talent. Like, there will be somebody or some bodies that is good, but it's probably not going to be as good as a Caleb Williams, Drake Maye, Jayden Daniels trio. And again, you're not going to be picking that high like you are this year. You've got 1 and 9 this year. Like, you can take a quarterback at 1 here and still build a good team. It's not like if you trade Justin Fields and take a QB1, it's like, oh, we're out of resources. Caleb or Drake or whoever, he's just screwed like every other quarterback. This is different. This roster is ascending. You have over $60 million in cap space. You have a second top 10 pick. So I understand if you're on Team Fields draft a quarterback, which again, I still have not made my final decision. I'm leaning in the draft a quarterback camp. I've said that for a couple of weeks now, but it's not ultimately final. I'm going to the NFL Combine. I'm trying to wait until then because I want to see these quarterbacks up close, hear how they carry themselves before making that final decision for me. But if you're the Bears, you have to be prepared at least to be heavily leaning in one direction or another here heading into the Combine. Like, yeah, you want to go to the Combine with a bit of an open mind on what you're going to do at quarterback, A, which prospects, and B, to keep Fields. But you also have to at least, as an organization, be like, okay, we're leaning this way because of this reason. Let's see how the Combine goes. If you're not doing that, you're not prepared. You're just not prepared. So what do you guys think? Is Justin Fields getting traded? Based on what Big said, it certainly feels like that could be the case. Type Y for yes or type in for no. Before we continue, today's show is sponsored by PrizePicks. How about that Super Bowl last night? Made some money last night. Almost hit on my big 4-player entry, but back at it tonight with the NBA and for the rest of the basketball season, plus baseball coming up. So still plenty of reasons to download the PrizePicks app. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. PrizePicks is daily fantasy made easy. They just give you statistical projections. You take the more or the less on those numbers. For example, Mahomes passing yards, Brock Purdy rushing yards, receiving touchdowns, rushing, whatever the case may be. They have tons available, obviously, with hoops. It's going to be points, rebounds, assists, fantasy totals, whatever. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. The code CLNS when you sign up gets a $100 deposit match for you. Go check it out today. It's PrizePicks. We appreciate them for sponsoring today's show. Link is in the comments and in the description. PrizePicks. And the question is let's take Big's quote verbatim. It's no longer a question. The question is now which quarterback they're going to draft. The Fields thing it's run its course. Let's say he's saying that 100% based on reporting, based on what he's hearing. Could they trade him before the combine and just say, look, we like multiple quarterbacks at the combine and our only evaluations are just which one we're going to take? Or do you still wait until the combine and let it run its course? I still think you probably wait unless you get a really good offer. But if you've come to the decision as an organization that we're trading Justin and drafting a quarterback, then there's a scenario where they could trade him between now and the combine. I don't think they have to wait. Still think it's probably smart to. But again, you could be concerned that value dips if you wait. You could get a good offer that you don't want to pass on. So it's going to be interesting, man. And look, I've made the purpose of this video more so about what they're doing with Fields, potentially based on what Big said, not which quarterback they're going to take. We can obviously talk about that here. I mean, the name we keep hearing and we're mostly going to discuss because he's the projected top pick is Caleb Williams, but Drake Maye is a really good prospect. We haven't talked a ton about Jayden Daniels. I don't think he's a guy I would take number one. I think that would be a trade down scenario. I could see a scenario where Maye goes one. I would not do that. I would take Caleb one if I'm taking a quarterback. I just think the ceiling and the floor is higher there. I get DMs all the time. What do you make of Caleb's attitude? His makeup? Like someone literally yesterday tweeted, Caleb is 100% a bust. There's no chance he succeeds. His attitude and off-the-field concerns are major red flags. Basically saying there's no possible scenario where he's good. How can you come to that conclusion? There's no possible way you can make that determination. Now, I can't sit here and say for sure he's going to be good. But I can't sit out there and say that the projected number one pick has no chance of being good. In fact, he's going to be a bust, no doubt about it. Guys, you can have an opinion of keeping Justin Fields. I don't think it's even a bad one. But don't sit here and bury this kid and say he's going to be a bust when, let's be honest, you don't have the full information, and neither do I. Only these teams get access to that type of information. And by the way, when you hear his teammates and coaches talk publicly, they all praise him. Now, that doesn't mean he's flawless. That doesn't mean he's perfect. I don't think he is. I think the second half of this year, he pressed too much and he got into some bad habits. He's going to have to clean that up in the NFL. I think at times when they started losing these games, his body language wasn't the best. He's going to have to work on that. But that doesn't mean, those couple of things with, he's painting his nails, he cried after a game. He's a bust, you can't draft him, there's no chance he'll be successful. It's just not true, man. And of course, 5 years from now, if he is a bust, someone will come back. I told you, he's absolutely a bust. Okay, but that's just a guess. There's no possible way you can make that determination right now. So, and by the way, if you're the Bears, sure, if your evaluation is mixed and you don't feel good about it, you don't draft the player. But the bottom line is, if you think you need to upgrade at quarterback and you feel like there's one or two guys or whatever in this draft to do it, you got to heavily consider it, man. You look at that Super Bowl last night. The Niners, excuse me, the Niners largely outplayed the Chiefs. The Niners, at a lot of positions, are better than the Chiefs. They have Mahomes, though, man. Like, the guy just found a way. That's what he does. I don't think, and again, I'm not comparing Caleb to Mahomes. I'm not comparing Drake to Mahomes. I think any comparison to Mahomes at this point, a guy who has 3 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 MVPs by the age of 28, is ludicrous. But the point is, it is hard as hell to win a Super Bowl without a Hall of Fame quarterback. Don't believe me? Look at the recent ones. Last 2, Mahomes. He's a Hall of Famer. One before that, Matthew Stafford. I got news. Stafford's going to the Hall of Fame. Played like a top 5 QB that year. He's been a top 10 QB his entire career. Top 5 in a handful of years. Year before that would have been Brady, Hall of Fame. Year before that, Mahomes. Year before that, Brady. So last 6 Super Bowls, all Hall of Fame quarterbacks. If you want to quibble about Stafford's Hall of Fame candidacy, fine. But he's going to get in. Year before that, okay, Nick Foles. You want to point to the 2017 Eagles? Fine. Okay. So 1 out of 6 years, you might have a run where a non-super MVP / Hall of Fame caliber quarterback wins a Super Bowl. And by the way, Carson Wentz likely wins the MVP that year if he doesn't get hurt the last few weeks of the season, and got them in position to win get the number 1 overall seed. So Carson Wentz, an MVP quarterback that season, played a big role in that team winning the Super Bowl. Now, I'm not taking it. And by the way, let me add this too. Nick Foles played like a Hall of Famer in that playoff run. Now, you can't bank on that. Like, you can't have the 15th best quarterback make the playoffs and hope he goes on a magical run. It's happened a few times. Flacco did it, although Flacco had a pretty good career, and that Ravens defense was all time. Nick Foles obviously went on a 2 or 3 game magical run. Listen, he had to throw for over 400 yards to beat Tom Brady. Like, so the point of all this is, if you keep Justin Fields, can he get to that level? Can he have 400 yards in multiple playoff games and win a Super Bowl? I'm not saying you have to do that every game, but it's hard, man. It's hard when you don't have a top 3, top 5 guy. I love Justin. I think in the right circumstances, he could be a top 10 quarterback in this league. But I'd be lying if I said I think he could be top 5 at this point, top 3. Guys, Josh Allen has been top 5 for 4 years now. Can't get to a Super Bowl. Can't get to a Super Bowl. Lamar's won 2 MVPs. Can't get to a Super Bowl. And that's the beauty of the Bears being in the NFC right now. You don't have to go through Mahomes. So if you somehow get to the game, then you only have to win 1 game. You have a chance. The chances of running through the AFC right now, through Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, it is difficult. The NFC path is easier. It's tough, man. I don't think Justin's gotten a fair shake here. I don't think it's been fair. My decision isn't final, but if your evaluation, if you're the Bears, is you love one of these quarterbacks, I don't see how you pass on them at this point. All right, guys, who's going to be the Bears quarterback next season? Let me know in the comments section. Also, on the way out, hit that subscribe button. We're posting content every single day for free. Beauty of this channel, we don't have to agree. We can agree to disagree. Let's just be respectful about it. Bear down. We'll see you guys this afternoon for Bears Now Live.